What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this, I want to break down what's happening with the overall markets. I'm going to talk about why SPY is down 1.3%, why the QQQ is down about 1.86% right now, and why Apple's actually dipping right now, why the market is dumping in the pre-market as President Trump is threatening even more tariffs. SPY is getting closer to filling this gap as he predicted, so get ready for more potential downside. Just know that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you sign up and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000, you're guaranteed 25. If you deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. The offer ends on June 3rd in just about 2 weeks from now. Anyways, let's break down what's happening with the market. So SPY and the market are down quite a bit because President Trump has threatened he's just threatened Apple with 25% tariffs and the European Union with 50% tariffs. This is huge news that just came out. The European Union wants to negotiate with President Trump. They mentioned that they want to see some good deals yesterday. They were talking about this, and they wanted to see tariffs come down to zero. They were giving the U.S. a nice proposal yesterday, and then they also mentioned that if we don't get a deal, if things don't go in their favor, they are going to have $108 billion worth of products where they're going to be increasing tariffs on them on the US in retaliation. So they want to increase tariffs on $108 billion worth of goods in retaliation if they don't really get a good deal. That's what they were saying. And now they might be doing that if President Trump's new rate ends up truly happening. So what's going on? What did President Trump say? President Trump said he's very frustrated with the lack of progress in reaching a deal with the EU, and he is recommending a 50% tariff on the EU starting as soon as June 1st, according to his social media account. This is his post right over here on Truth Social. President Trump said that the European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the USA on trade, has been very difficult to deal with. Their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, and etc., have been very unfair. It's led to a trade deficit of more than 250 million a year. Actually, President Trump meant to say 250 billion a year or around that level because, according to our sources right here, the U.S. goods trade deficit with the EU was $235.6 billion in 2024. So I think he meant to say the deficit is 250 billion right here. He put 250 million. Anyways, he's saying that it's not acceptable, it's unfair, and the U.S. is being screwed over. He's saying that their discussions are not going anywhere with them. Therefore, he is recommending a straight 50% tariff on the EU starting as soon as June 1st. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the USA. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is big news that came out from President Trump. He's threatening 50% tariffs on the EU. So he's trying to be the big boss, and he's trying to threaten them, get them to negotiate with the US, get something with these trade deals. That's why he's doing this. So if the European Union do not comply with what he wants, he's threatening 50% tariffs on them. He wants them to open their doors, negotiate better, get the US a deal that they really want. And if they don't do this, he's now recommending a 50% tariff on the EU on basically the majority of products, which is what he's implying. That's some huge news. Secondly, President Trump said that he has long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that he expects their iPhones to be sold in the USA, that they're going to be manufactured and built in the USA, not India or any place else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the US. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So now he's threatening Apple with higher tariffs. He's not happy with the fact that they're investing, billions of dollars into India. The fact that they're trying to manufacture over there, he's not happy about that. He wants them to build in the USA. If they don't, he's threatening more tariffs. Well, the thing is, building the USA is going to take a while because there's a lot of things that have to be taken care of. And right now, Apple is not able to produce every part in the USA. So it's going to take them a while to transition to do that. And it's also going to be dragging prices up, if you kind of think about it that way. So, if anything, President Trump wants to bring more jobs to America. He wants Apple to build in America. Now he's going to be threatening higher tariffs on them, which is going to drag, iPhone costs higher as a result. So you have to keep all of this in mind as time goes on. On top of this, President Trump said that they're negotiating with with the United Kingdom. The negotiations are going very, very well, and he strongly recommends that they, however, in order to bring their energy costs down, they stop with the costly and unsightly windmills and incentivize modernizing drilling in the North Sea. So that's what he's saying so far. So he's trying to get these European countries to do what he wants them to do. So that's another big piece of news. Besides that, we're seeing the European autos index shredding a higher percentage, and I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy on the news besides this news so far. Today we have about over 300,000 calls expiring and almost 700,000 of these puts expiring, a 2.23 put to call ratio with 585 being max pain. And finally, we have new home sales at 10 a.m. So keep all of this in mind. We have Cook giving a speech from the Fed at noon. So what does this mean? The market's looking bearish, guys. We got this big hit right here. We need to see SPY reclaim, I'd say like 508 to see a nice rebound. If we can't get back above like 580, we're going to see some shuffling at 575. And then eventually, if we can't hold 575, I think we're going to be at risk of dipping to like 570, which is where this gap support is. If not, as low as that gap for 566. So it could be dipping to fill the gap. So be prepared for more downside, guys. The market could be looking for a big dump amidst what President Trump just said. Unless SPY reclaims 580, we're looking bearish. I do anticipate some consolidation near 575, then potentially more downside all the way down to 570, then 566 if this continues. On the QQQ, we're looking weak. We're barely at 503, the first support level I called out right here. So we need to see this reclaim at least 510. If not, we might consolidate between 507 and 503 before we continue to fall. We're looking at gap support right here around, well, we first have 500 and 497, which is where the gap support is. And then we'll see how well we hold up here. If we don't hold that, then we could be dumping all the way down to fill this gap. So just keep that in mind. So keep that in mind as time goes on. The IWM is getting a big rejection right here. We have to see how well we hold up. We're trying to rebound in the pre-market, so we're going to see if we can get back above 200 or not. If we can't hold it, though, we're going to be at risk of dipping again. So watch to see a test of 200 to see if we hold. If not, we could be dipping lower on the Russell 2000. On ES, we're looking weak right now. We're very heavy. We need to get back above 5,800 to see some kind of small rebound. If we can't hold above 5,800, we're looking for a dip lower. We have gap support, which is where we're at right now. If it doesn't hold, we could be dipping to our 200 EMA at 57.18. If not, this gap fill all the way down to about 56.80. So give this some time as we're going to continue to fall. On NQ, we're seeing a big rejection right here. We're going to be watching to see if 21,000 is reclaimed. If not, we could be dipping all the way down towards 20,500 or below. So give this the time it needs. That's going to be very key for how things end up going. On Bitcoin, we got this big rejection. We're going to be watching to see if 106,690 holds or not. We might be testing that. Tesla is currently at this 333 area. Just tested that. We're going to be seeing if this can reclaim 338 to bounce. If we reclaim 338, we could try some kind of rebound move. If we can't reclaim 338, we're favoring 333, then 330 is our target. So be careful on Tesla. There's still some weakness, but I don't think Tesla's going to dump as hard as the market because it's not as affected by this news as other companies. Nvidia is dipping a bit. We're looking at 128 as the main support. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for 125. I do think we test 128 and we'll see if we bounce a little bit off this 50 EMA. If we don't hold this, though, look for a dump to about 125. On Aapl, we're on a downtrend. We have to see if we can reclaim 198. If we can't get back above that, we're looking for 192 and then eventually back down towards 190 to give this some time. For Coinbase, we're also rejecting right here. We're going to be watching this 261 area to see if it holds. If it does not hold, we could be dipping back down to the previous lows over here, all the way down towards 257. We need to hold this 200 EMA at 196 on Amazon, or else we're going to be dumping to 192 or below to fill our gap. So watch those supports. If 200 is reclaimed, we could try a bigger bounce, but I do see some downside risk. On Meta, we're showing some weakness. We're watching this like 615 area. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for a dip to the 200 EMA at 598. On Google, we got a big rejection. We're looking for 168. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for 165. And on Microsoft, we're looking for 445. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for a gap fill for 437. In other words, the VIX has the inverse essential list we were talking about. We have to see if 23.5 holds. If it doesn't, this could dip back down. If it does hold, we could be looking for a continuation to the upside as the market looks more bearish. We're watching this 575 zone for some shuffling on SPY. Then we'll see if we continue to fall, if we can hold it or not. If we don't hold 575, get ready for 570, then potentially the gap fill to 566. The market's heavy, the market's weak amidst President Trump's new tariff threats. So keep that in mind. This is big news that came out. I'll keep you guys updated in case we get any more news. Thank you for listening, and peace out.